We operate under a dangerous assumption that if we aren't brutal with ourselves, we will fail. The world outside is already throwing unprecedented volatility, systemic pressure, and endless demands our way, yet our default instinct is to turn inward and wage war against our own minds. We treat self-criticism as if it is a form of accountability, completely ignoring the truth that you cannot build a resilient life on a foundation of self-destruction. The external friction of modern life is exhausting enough. Compounding it with internal brutality is a guaranteed recipe for collapse. If we do not immediately change how we treat ourselves in the midst of the struggle, we won't just burn out. We will completely erode the very capacity we need to survive, adapt, and lead through the storm. We mistakenly believe that being brutal with ourselves is the only way to maintain true accountability. We assume that if we do not punish our missteps, we will stop striving for excellence. But beating yourself up does not build discipline. It merely breeds a paralyzing fear of failure. When you penalize yourself for falling short, you are simply conditioning your mind to avoid taking risks. True accountability is never about looking backward to inflict pain, but about looking forward to build sustainable capability. When we treat our mistakes as character flaws, we destroy the psychological safety required to adapt and grow. Every ounce of energy you spend fighting yourself is energy stolen from your ability to face a demanding world. When we internalize external hostility and berate our own efforts, we create a secondary crisis within our minds. This internal friction serves only to drain our finite resources, leaving us exhausted before the real battle begins. We cannot successfully navigate external chaos when we are actively sabotaging our own internal stability. By layering self-criticism on top of existing hardships, we double the weight we carry. We break our own spirit, wrongly believing a beaten mind is somehow more capable of handling adversity. True protection does not come from a change in our external circumstances, but from the environment we choose to foster within ourselves. When the outside world becomes volatile and demanding, your mind must become the one place where you are entirely safe from harsh judgment. If you cannot find refuge in your own thoughts, you will find it nowhere else. Designing an internal sanctuary requires a conscious decision to replace constant criticism with genuine empathy. We must build an inner space where our inevitable setbacks are met with curiosity rather than condemnation, allowing ourselves the room to recover and rebuild. Grace is not a soft excuse for mediocrity, but a tactical requirement for sustained human endurance. When we extend compassion to ourselves during difficult times, we are not lowering our standards. We are actively protecting our capacity to meet them. It is the ultimate leverage that allows us to stand back up after a crushing blow. Choosing internal kindness over cruelty gives us the psychological space needed to see a clear path forward. When we remove the heavy burden of shame, we finally unlock our inherent ability to innovate, learn, and rebuild our strength for the long journey stretching ahead. Life is not a finite game with a final scoreboard, but an infinite journey of understanding how we navigate the pressures of a difficult world. When we view our daily struggles through the rigid lens of winning or losing, every mistake becomes a permanent indictment of our character. This relentless self-judgment forces us to play defensively, focusing on avoiding errors rather than exploring what we are truly capable of achieving. Embracing a perspective of self-discovery allows us to see our setbacks not as definitive proof of our inadequacy, but as vital pieces of information that guide our evolution. Choosing curiosity over condemnation completely transforms the way we interact with our own limitations. We stop asking what is broken within us and begin asking what this difficult moment can teach us about our resilience. This shift turns our inner world from a hostile courtroom into a space of sustainable growth. Your mind is the ultimate foundation upon which every single ambition, relationship, and action you take is built. When we allow relentless self-criticism to crack that foundation, we jeopardize the entire infrastructure of our lives. Kindness to oneself is not a luxury or a reward for a job well done. It is a fundamental survival imperative. If you are constantly chipping away at your own self-worth, the structure will eventually collapse under the crushing weight of external pressures. We must recognize that protecting our inner well-being is the absolute prerequisite for any meaningful external impact we wish to make. Survival in a volatile world requires us to become our own fiercest defenders rather than our most unforgiving critics. When we choose to treat our own struggles with genuine compassion, we are actively preserving the vital fuel needed to keep moving forward through adversity. It is a profound shift from merely enduring hardship to actively maintaining the resilience required to overcome it. By choosing to protect your internal foundation, you ensure that you possess the emotional and mental reserves to show up fully for yourself and ultimately for the people who look to you for strength and guidance.